Topping the list for us, a scare along Western Avenue. Workers at a recycling plant finding a box possibly containing explosives. First responders and neighbors still dealing with it as we speak. Western Avenue had to be closed down between Texas Avenue and Massachusetts Avenue. The find prompting Knoxville firefighters to urge evacuations for homes and businesses within a 3,000 square foot radius. Now you see the map here, see the area circled in yellow, stretching over to Sanderson Road, Pleasant Ridge Road, into the Westview neighborhood, Beaumont, and the edge of Western Heights. Now, we do want to get you up to date with the very latest. Scott Erlin with Knoxville Police prepared now to speak with the media to get us up to date on where things stand right now. Let's listen in.
All right, good evening, everybody. I want to give you an update on the situation here on Western Avenue. Based on our ongoing investigation into the suspected explosive materials on Menders Avenue. Currently, we are still working through the evacuation process, evacuating within an approximately 3,000 foot radius of where the suspected explosive material was found. Wanted to give you a little bit more definitive timeline on what we're probably dealing with. In our last two briefings, we've talked about we believe this is going to be a prolonged event. We believe this is an event that might last into tomorrow night. So what we want to encourage residents to do is to stay away from this area until this scene is cleared and that we have rendered this material as safe as possible. The reason for that is, as I said in my previous briefing is what we're dealing with is approximately a 5x5 steel box that contains what we believe is explosive material. The box is smoking, so because of the potentially volatile nature of that, there's nothing right now that the bomb squad can do with it coming up on night. And with the currently smoking, that doesn't have the potential to aggravate the material we're dealing with and potentially cause a detonation. So this is very delicate, complicated work. We're going to keep this perimeter maintained, the evacuation orders in place until this has come to a resolution. And again, I do want to reiterate something. These are explosive materials, suspected explosive materials we're dealing with, not an explosive device. Okay? But we do believe that this is going to be an extended, prolonged period, potentially run into tomorrow night before this is all cleared up and finalized. So we cannot, in the strongest words, we cannot encourage people enough to stay out of this area, the evacuation area, and not come back into the zone. We again reiterate what the mayor said, what our news release said. An emergency shelter has been established thanks to our colleagues at the Knoxville Emergency Management Agency at the Jacob Building. And so we'll be monitoring that throughout the night. But again, still really up in the air, the very fluid situation, but to give people a little bit more reasonable expectations of what they're dealing with. This could be a situation that goes into tomorrow night.
Do you believe that the suspected material is dynamite?
That's what we suspect at this time, but we don't know that definitively right now.
And dynamite is very dangerous. That's why your bomb squad is being very cautious.
Yes, sir. That's exactly right. And we're not dealing with a small amount of suspected dynamite here. We're talking about a 5x5 box, a large box. So there's a reason that we have the evacuation zone is so large, right? Because we're not dealing with just some small amount of suspected dynamite. We're dealing with a large amount. And again, still have not definitively determine what this material is, but that is our suspicion at this time.
Scott, what challenges does nightfall present for those investigators? I know you mentioned that it might go into tomorrow because of the darkness.
Oh, we feel almost certain it's going to go into tomorrow. The work that the bomb squad does is incredibly delicate. The process really slows down because they have to really have a lot of confidence in what they're dealing with and the actions that they take, what is going to happen based on those actions, right? So the box is smoking. We believe there is explosive material in there, a large amount of explosive material in there. The bomb squad and we do not feel that there are any actions they can take right now that do not create the possibility of aggravating that and causing a detonation.
And you're saying that because it's getting dark. Will they continue to operate in the dark?
We will stay here throughout the night. We will have staff here throughout the night.
Monitoring it or trying to defuse it?
Monitoring that.
Monitoring it.
Yes, sir.
Scott, will there be any specialty teams coming in, outside agencies coming in to help with the situation?
No, but we have consulted with the ATF and the FBI, and those are their recommendations too. So we aren't making these decisions alone. Without our expert help, we've consulted with the ATF and the FBI, and based on what we know and what we believe we are dealing with, and the decisions we've made, that's been their recommendation too, is to maintain those evacuation zones.
Western Avenue is closed from Massachusetts all the way to 640, roughly a mile.
Yes,
will it continue to remain closed?
Yes, sir. We will believe it because you're in the immediate impacted area here.
I know there's a lot of people on pins and needles waiting to hear if there's going to be some sort of boom tonight. What's your message to them? Is they're probably worried about what their home's going to look like tomorrow? I know they're not able to stay there tonight.
Our message to them is that we're doing everything we can to safely render this material. Render this material safe. And the message that we cannot get across enough is please, if you're within that evacuation zone, leave the area, and please do not try to re-enter the area until we have deemed this safe. And this has come to a resolution.
And you said CAT is there to take folks to the Jacobs building?
I believe that's correct, isn't it?
Yeah, CAT has worked with us along with AMR, moving folks out of their homes. We've moved somewhere in the neighborhood of 1,000 to 1,200 people. Not sure exactly the number yet, but we've moved them to different locations. Some folks have elected to go to family members, different things like that. But we'll continue to work through that. And if anyone's still in their home and they want to leave, they can call the non-emergency number at 865-215-4010. They'll get that information back over to the command post, and we'll send somebody to go get them.
Is it a mandatory evacuation or not, Mark?
It's a highly recommended. We have not gone to the point where it's mandatory. It's very difficult to make people leave their homes, as you all well know. We're doing everything we can to encourage folks. We're trying to make this as easy on everyone as we possibly can.
Thank you very much, Mark Wilbanks and Scott Erlin. Thank you.
To clarify, it's a 5x5.
All right, again, you've been listening to the latest right now on the developments along Western Avenue. Scott Erlin, Mark Wilbanks, kind of addressing the current situation. A couple of things to take away. You heard from Mark Wilbanks. They have assisted anywhere from 1,000 to 1,200 people to evacuate that area. And as you heard from Scott Erlin, this is not going to be wrapping up anytime soon. This may go well into tomorrow night. You see the area behind me here, so we're just east of 640. The area in purple here, that's the good chunk of the section of Western Avenue that is currently closed. So really from about Pleasant Ridge, just inside that 640 interchange, all the way over to Massachusetts, Texas involved in there as well. Keep that in mind for tomorrow as well. Not tonight, but tomorrow, if this is what you use to try to get to work, it's going to be off limits for you tomorrow, so something else to keep in mind. And again, a very large area, approximately about 3,000 square. Let's see, about 3,000 square feet, I believe, thank you, Ken, that is currently impacted. So again, this is something we'll have to continue to monitor. You heard the phone number. If you're watching right now and you would like to be taken, maybe you have nowhere else to go right now, but you want to get out of that area, you want to go to the Jacob building, which is where they are evacuating everybody to. It's 865-215-4010. CAT, AMR, Knoxville Fire, also assisting THP, has also been helping out as well. So we're going to continue to try to monitor this for you, keep you up to date of any other changes. But again, this is not going to be changing as far as these closures until at least it sounds like tomorrow night. And they think it is dynamite that they are dealing with. Still a lot of questions. That's why they're still investigating. But as the sun now starts to set, it's going to be tough for those bomb squads. That's why they're going to have to wait and work on some of this tomorrow. But they will stay out there to continue to monitor the situation, as will we.